Welcome to Envisioned Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success. Presents Women Emerge with Mellisa Lambert, a show that shines a light on spiritual growth, health, purpose, and financial education. It's time to emerge and begin to live out your dreams, walk into your destiny, while making a difference in the lives of many.
Welcome to Women Emerge with Mellisa Lambert. I am your host, and it's always an honor and a privilege to come before you another Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. I get excited about Thursday because my co-host, Tony Chambly, always comes with a book of knowledge to really share truly the information that we all need to know about, the truth about money. Come on now. We use it, we spend it, we earn it, we work hard for it, but we really don't understand the truth about it. So I'm so excited that every Thursday, Mr. Chambly has taken his time out of his busy schedule to meet us and to talk to us and give us the information that is needed. So again, as you know, this show is being sponsored by Lambert Legacy Financial, powered by Core Financial Partners. We aim to teach the truth about money, engaging individuals and families to think about and plan their legacy. Our focus is our family fund and our future legacy. This show will introduce you to leaders, the experts, and motivators who share their journeys and their stories through personal and professional growth, knowledgeable tips, and lesson learned that will empower you to grow. It is time, y'all. It is time to grow your mind, your spirit, your brand, your business, and yes, truly, your finance. Today's topic we're going to be diving into. I love this topic, by the way. When Tony gave me this topic, I was like, you know what? Listen, I always say this anyway. Why not have the discussion about it? So we're going to discuss how to do what the banks do, not what they say. So we're going to do what the banks do, y'all, and not what they say. So, Tony, again, welcome to the show.
Well, I am thankful to be invited again and to be a part of what you're doing here. And I'm excited as well, Mellisa, to be able to share about, the truth about banks and, how the banks are operating and how they can give you some tips and clues on how to be a honest banker for your banking system that hopefully you've already put in place. If not, that this talk today can help you be inspired to go and get your own banking startup. So I'm excited.
I'm excited as well, and as those who are tuning in for the first time and is listening, just let's get them a little quick background about a little bit about Core Financial Partners. I want to just kind of give them that full understanding. A little bit, who is Core Financial Partners? Our mission, our vision, our creed, and just tell us, how did you even get into the phase of saying, "Wow, finally, somebody's telling me something, and now I'm going to do what they do, not what they say." So give us a little bit of background about Core Financial Partners and how you became so versed on understanding that it is time for you and your family to do what the banks are doing and not just what they're saying.
Sure. It really goes along with our story of how we embarked upon this assignment of being in the financial industry as financial education. Our mission really tells the story, and then everything else kind of gives you, what a solution to where we were. And that's our 4S mission. Our 4S mission, Mellisa, is, going from the level of a survivor up to the level of a person in security, and then success, and then significance. Because if you think about it, survival is living paycheck to paycheck, right? Been there, done that. I owned the T-shirt. I used to own a T-shirt. And then we realized, okay, we need to make more money. We need to be more efficient and save more money. And that allows us to reach the plateau of or the next position, which is security. That's having 6 months of your income. And having 6 months of your income, put a little bit of peace behind you. You know you can take care of a rainy day, or you can take care of an emergency. And then you strive to get to the next step, and the next step is actually success. Success is now putting your habit of saving money and building up capital and put it to work for you, giving your money an assignment to go make more money for you, and now you're in a position to have purchasing income producing assets. And then from there, Mellisa, now you got to the place where now you at significance. Significant is now, doing the good works of sharing that information with those that you care about, right? We all want to leave a legacy, right? Because what we do for us dies with us. What we do for others live on forever, and that's really what a legacy is. And we believe we've been able to uncover or unveil the blueprint to being able to get to that place. And from there, how did all this happen? It all happens based off of what we call our philosophy, and that is that more money doesn't get or keep you out of a financial situation. Only financial education does. As I said in the beginning, when I was in survival mode, it was all about making more money, working 2 jobs, working a job in a business, working 2 jobs in a business, doing whatever we had to do to make more money. But it wasn't the solution. It wasn't the answer, because as much as I made more money, it was more and much more being taken away or being lost or being frivolously spent away. And I realized that wasn't the solution. That wasn't the answer. And so I just started diving into education, diving into information, and just learning from those that, had that wisdom that I didn't have yet. And it made a huge difference. And we felt like that needs to be our principle, our core principle to us working with anybody that's serious about their financial future. And then it leads to our vision. Our vision is to bring financial awareness and education that bring prosperity, right? Awareness and education will bring prosperity. And there's a lot of things that the common person, Mellisa, don't even know exist. It's like we use a phrase called unconsciously incompetence. That means you don't even know that it exists. And I end with this. Someone has said to us a long time ago, and it stuck with us. They said, for what you believe is true, if it wasn't true, when would you want to know? Right? And I'm like, wow, I would want to know immediately. Matter of fact, how about yesterday? I don't want to live off false pretenses, right? Off of trickery, right? Off of me being misled, smoke and mirrors. I don't want to live from that. I want the truth. I want the clear truth so I can understand the game and I can play the game to win. And that's what we do here at CORE. We're the ones that are teaching the game, sharing the game, making it aware.
Wow. And I love that. I mean, I say we are game changers.
I like that.
We're changed, and I like the fact that because everything starts with people like ourselves. When you see change happen, and someone was behind that, and one of the things that I can say I love about CORE is the head is right. If the head is not right, the neck can't get itself together, and the remaining body parts are not able to function accordingly. And that's what I love about CORE. Yourself, Tony, and yourself, Latoya, you both have your head on right. And the first center of your head, that keeps you guys grounded is God. The creed. Trust God, love people, and use money. So I love the foundation that where we start as a group. And I know that many of people are wondering about this topic in itself, how to do what the banks do, not what they say. No one really has ever said that before, Tony, because when we hear the definition of a bank, it's not saying that we can run it, we can own it, we are a part of it. It was just like we are we're a customer to the bank, not realizing we are, without us, there's no business for the bank. So how do you define banking?
Sure. Banking is a concept, right? Not a building. I start with that. And if I put it in short term, I would say this. Banking is a flow of cash that meets a need at a cost. Right? And it meets a need at a cost through the banking world that we live in is mainly through loans, right, or credit, right? However, though, you can invert that and do it within your own system. So banking, once again, is a flow of cash or a flow of capital, right, that meets a need at a cost. Let me unpack that a little bit. Any need, want, or desire takes cash, right? It normally takes cash for services or goods. Now, normally we go through the stash we have within our own place of residence, or we go to the bank, right? And when we do that, when the need, want, or desire is possibly needed some sort of assistance or loan or credit, the bank is willing to give it to us, and they do it at a cost. They don't give it you, if you borrow $5,000, you pay back $5,000. No such thing. That's not banking. Banking, it has to meet a need with a cost. So the cost is going to be 3% interest, 5% interest, 20% interest. They're doing credit cards now, Mellisa, today at 30% and plus. So the cost of taking care of the need from the capital is how it all works in the banking system.
I love it. And I mean, again, when we think about just what you just said, that banking is a flow of cash.
Yeah.
That flow of cash comes from each and every individual that goes in and deposit their money or direct deposit their money. That is the flow of cash that is used to bring back out what you just said, that meets the need at a cost, which is loan and credit. So that same flow of cash that is going in from you, your auntie them, your brother them, your sister them, your cousin and them, all those flow of cash, guess what? It's coming back out to loan Mellisa some money, Tony some money, LaToya some money, and also give some credit to somebody else. So I like that we have understanding of what we have in front of us. So how do traditional banks get started? Because they are an institution, as you mentioned, but they have to start somehow and somewhere. When you think about a traditional bank, the Wells Fargo, the Chase, the Bank of America, all these traditional banks, Tony,
Sure.
how does these traditional banks get started?
Sure. A traditional bank first have to, they have to put a business plan together. And the first thing they have to do in the business plan is going to have built up and saved and have it available $20 million or more, right? No business is going to get started in a traditional banking sense without $20 million, right? They at least want to see you have, and they have to have it in another bank because you don't have a bank yet, and it has to be sitting there. It's almost like when you're buying a home, they want to see that you have reserves, right? And they don't want you moving that reserve. They want it to build up and stay right there until that house is purchased. It brings some kind of peace of mind to them. Also, in addition to that, it has to go through the bank commissioner office, right? You have to submit your desire to want to start a bank, and it has to go through the commissioner, right? And when you do that, you're applying for a bank charter. Is the terminology when you're doing that, right? And here's the thing about a traditional bank, Mellisa. Only 1 out of every 100 is going to be approved. You're saving all this money. You're going to go through all this red tape that's necessary and that's needed, and only 1 out of every 100 is even approved. And here's what I know about a commissioner of a bank charter. The commissioner of the bank charter is like an iceberg, right? It's like an iceberg because like an iceberg, you only see 10% above the water. The other 90% is below the water. It's unseen. Well, guess what? A bank commissioner is the same way. Only what's going to be done in them making the decision is going to be above water. Everything else is going to be unseen, right? This is where lobbyists come in. This is where you knowing the right person, the right people, all those kind of things come into play, right? So it's not an easy game to get into. It's not an easy business to get into, right?
Wow.
And so, in saying all that, if you're fortunate enough to get approved, right, if you end up with the covenant charter, they approved you, now this is what you have to do to get your bank up and going. You now got to spend more money out of your pocket finding location, right? After finding a location, now you got to get and attract people to come and deposit money there. So you got to do, you have to have an advertising budget for that to happen. And so when people start depositing money in there, now you're in a position to do what banks do, right? Banks lend money. They first got to get depositors, right? And they then, if they get depositors, now they can be in position to lend money. Because one thing that's a fact, Mellisa, if you don't have money that depositors put in, you don't have money to lend to people following, right? Banks do not lend their money. They lend depositors money, right? And the last thing I'm going to say to answer this question is that it takes a bank, a traditional bank, upwards to 10 years to even see a profit. Think about that, 10 years,
Wow.
right? And we say all this because it's not easy starting a traditional bank. So when people hear banking, not realizing that you can't get any better than the banking system that we're going to talk to you about before we're done, is a blessing to be able to have a position of a bank the way it's being set up and being shared with these different podcasts that we're doing.
Yeah. And I'm glad that we're even talking about this because the thing about us as people, right, for years we've been indoctrinated to bring our money and our checks and whatever we earn to this institution that's called traditional banking. And, you know, as you just mentioned, it takes them, they need $20 million or more just to start their own business. So they got to go through the same concept of every person that opens up a business, right? So as you can tell, a bank is a business, right? And they need $20 million. And you said something, one out of 100 will get approved, right, through the banking commissioner. And then you said something that is so crucial, and I want people to hear this. It takes a bank, a traditional bank, 10 years to see profit. So I want y'all to think about it just like this. When we start talking to you about infinite banking concept, I want you to understand for whatever age you are. I'm 43 years old. I started banking at around 16. So from 16 to 43, I've been banking at the traditional. I am just finally getting access to an information that's going to teach me how to do what they do and not what they say. So I want you to give yourself grace. That's the point of it behind all of this. Give yourself grace and have patience with yourself and understand that it's a learning curve, Tony. And I want people to get that. I don't want them to think that it's going to come, oh, yes, Rich, we can show them how to do this overnight. We can show them how to fix this and put it together. But through the process of them doing it and having their own privatized banking, they got to give themselves grace to know that it's a learning curve. It's a shift that they have to go through in the process.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Tony, like knowing that we gave them a concept of we defined what banking is. We also talk about what traditional banking is. So how does IBC, which we call infinite banking concept, compares to a traditional banks as we know today?
Sure. Before I go into that, let me give a little bit more on what we were talking about just now, about the traditional banks, then I can compare the two. When it comes to a traditional bank, I made the point a little bit, but I wanted to elaborate on it, that they don't lend their money, they lend depositors money. And when you're knowing this, you know, how is it always enough to get just to lend out money? There's something that I would ask you to write down and do some due diligence on. It's called fractional reserve lending system. The fractional reserve lending system, it allows the banking system, the traditional banking system we live in, to take money in 10 times it. So if you and I deposited $1,000, Mellisa, it literally shows up in that ledger as $10,000 that can be lent out.
Wow.
So if somebody deposited $10,000, it shows in their ledger that $100,000 could be lent out. And so, in other words, they're creating money out of thin air, invisible money. So whenever you hear a fractional reserve, the fractional reserve allows the banking system to print more money, to be able to give out more money, right? And now here's the key point to this. You hear in the media a lot about prices going up. The prices are not going up. It's the power of the dollar's going down. Every time money's printed, it's lowering the purchasing power of the dollar. Infinite banking derives from that concept of we have to slow that down. If we keep borrowing money from the banks of the world, the traditional banks of the world, imagine where the inflation would be as we continue to do it. The way we're going to reverse the curse, right, from what traditional banks are doing to society today is us understanding that and creating private banking, infinite banking, and that's what turns it around. So infinite banking, what it allows you to do is align yourself with a dividend-paying whole life insurance company, right? Dividend-paying whole life insurance contract. And it allows you to literally be in position of banking. What is banking? Banking is a flow of money that meets a need at a cost. Well, you can do that. Anybody, you and I can do that. We can be our own private bank by positioning our money in a dividend-paying whole life insurance product or contract policy, right? So in doing that, once you've been at a position where you are fortunate enough to find the proper person to work with, the person that's informed enough to really understand everything that it needs to be understood about setting one up, and they align you with the right mutual insurance company, you get it set up through approval process, right? Approval process is really simple, and they take you through. Now you're approved. Now you have a position of capitalizing your account, your policy. And when you capitalize it and you build it up enough, you now can borrow money from your policy. Remember, you're the depositor and you're the loaner and the lender, right? And now you go do what you want to do with it, right? Need, wants, and desire are being met. Just like when we go to a regular bank, a traditional banks, need, wants, and desires are met. But now you're doing it through your own banking system. Remember what we do at a traditional bank, Mellisa. When we use their money through lending or loans, right, we're doing it to take care of a need at a cost. Now you're doing it in your own infinite banking situation, private banking. You're depositing, you're borrowing against and not from because of a need at a cost. You're taking care of a need at a cost, and all you have to do is become an honest banker. The same system they have at traditional banks on how to pay them interest on top of principal back, you do the same thing with the infinite banking concept with your own privatized banking system for you and your family. You do the exact same thing. So let's say your credit cards are costing you 18%, right? Well, you should be looking to pay yourself back 18% if that's the kind of money that you're used to paying back when you bought or used credit in the past. You do the same thing here. Let's say your card note is at 8%. Well, when you use your infinite banking setup, or system, I rather call it, to take care of a car purchase, you do the same thing. Now, here's what they're only going to ask you to pay them. The insurance company is only going to ask you to pay them around 4%. But if your car was 8% at the traditional bank, pay yourself an extra 4%. It's going to go directly into your account. And now we look at the power and the beauty of the eighth wonder of the world, which is the rule of 72. Right? The rule of 72 says whatever interest rate you divide into number 72, it tells you how long it takes your money to double. So would you rather your money to be grown at 4% or 8%? Well, no, it's growing at 7% before you even do any banking. So if you're doing the banking and you're paying yourself, an additional 4% on top of the other 4% from the 4% to make it 8. So you going from 7% growth to 11% growth because you're putting 4 extra more, interest onto your money. 11 goes into 72 about 9 times, right? 10 to 9 times. Now your money's doubling every 9 to 10 years versus every 15 to 20 years. So it's a big difference when it comes to that. And that's where you're doing what the banks do and not what they say. And I say that to complete this answer to this question is because it's not been told, it's untold, right? It's easy to research it, though, that banks are doing this, and they do this almost at the same level that you and I could do this. And so that's where doing it through the infinite banking concept is privatized. Is you and I are in control, and the one that is in control can leverage. The one control, and the one that's getting leverage can now kind of reach their financial goals at light speed. And that's what this does. The infinite banking concept versus the traditional banking concept allows you to be in control, that allows you to leverage, and allows you to reach your goals at light speed.
Wow. I love it. One of the things that I am so thankful for is that we can finally be able to wake up to information that is for our good, right? And sometimes, again, we sit before these television, which is telling their own vision, while we are memorized by just what they're saying, and we're believing what they're saying, not picking up a book and reading what is really is going on, not really listening to experts like Tony Chambly on really what's going on, not getting to a corepreneur or getting to Lambert Legacy Financial to know and to see how can this happen. So I am so, again, always thankful because what everyone are going to find out here every time we come on here is we're going to tell you what the truth is what you do with it is going to matter. What you do with it will matter. So, we just dived into the greatest part of this full conversation is the how-to, in a sense, right? If we're talking about how to do what the bank is doing, that's infinite banking concept. That's what Tony just talked about, privatized banking. Not what they say. 'Cause what they're saying to you is put your money in our bank so we can profit. Put your money in our bank so we can loan it out. Put your money in our bank so you can stay in a survival mode and not in a significance mode. That's what they're saying, y'all. But we shifting the game today, and we're talking about this. So can you explain to people, because when we do our seminars every Wednesdays, and we talk about this, we talk about the BOLIs. Right? Bank-owned life insurance. We talk about BOLI. We talk about COLI. We talk about this, but people don't really understand that the infinite banking concept it's being played in the tradition with the banks, traditional banks, with the corporate companies. They're using the concept anyway. That's and right. They even gave it an acronym, BOLI, COLI. So tell us a little bit about what is BOLI? Bank-owned life insurance. What does that look like so people can have clarity on that's the name in itself?
Sure. This is important to understand so we know when we're making a statement, do what the banks do and not what they say. This is where it comes from right here. The banks take their tier one investments, right, and they actually capitalize their life insurance, their dividend paying whole life policy inside of a mutual insurance company the same way we're talking about here today, right? They do traditional banking with us, but they go and do their own banking for them and their purposes with what we're telling you to bypass the middleman of the traditional banking go directly to. So let me go back and tell you what tier one investments is for a traditional bank. Tier one means that it's in position of safety and principle not to be touched, not to be lost. They don't put it in an aggressive fund or stock or whatever it might be. So when you hear tier one, it's where all their safe money go, right? They want it to grow. Too many of us, I find, put money at risk with mutual funds, Roths, RAs, and things of that nature. It's speculation. It's a lot of volatility to it. Remember, do what the banks do, not what they say. Do you do some of your money? Maybe a pinch or two, right? They do 75%. So at least do the the percentage-wise that they're doing. So 75% of our money should be growing somewhere constantly, consistently, right, and uninterrupted. That's what they've done. They've set up these very same, right, dividend-paying whole life policies to do it for themselves. So they stuff millions of dollars in there monthly. And Mellisa, when they need one to desire something, right, they able to go and get a loan against it. Don't use it, right? Leverage it, right? So they do the exact same thing with the tier one investments. Now, if they do want to invest, and this is for the ears of our investors out there, they don't go invest their money, right? Rule number one, right, is to make sure you find a way for your money to double and then triple with no interruption. Rule number two, don't never use your money to go into an investment. When somebody else is going to allow you to borrow their money, right, and it grows at a higher rate than it's costing you to borrow the money. And that's what they understand. So what they do is, if they want to start a new strip mall, right, they might even want to finance a strip mall, Mellisa. They're going to say, look, if you want to start if this contractor or this construction company want to start and build a strip mall, or this commercial builder want to start a strip mall, we're going to borrow the money from our account, lend it to you at a markup, and then you pay us back, and we make the difference of what we made, what we marked up. Because they get it for 4% just like you and I are, Mellisa. And so what's going to happen is they're going to say, hey, builder or commercial real estate company, we're going to charge you 8%. And so, yeah, here's the money. Over the next several years, you pay us back, right? And we have a net gain of 4%. We're going to pay our loan back, and all that extra money we pocketed is our profit. And here's the deal, Mellisa. Did they ever use their money? They never use their own money. That's what's called arbitrage. And that's something I'm going to be talking about quite a bit going forward in all our workshops and things of that nature, Mellisa, because arbitrage is the name of the game. How do I position and leverage my money versus using my money? And that's what they figure out. Let me tell you another thing that the banks are doing when it comes to BOLI. They say, look, I want to hire the best of the best. I want to bring everybody in that I know is on top of that game. And they do seek out for talent. And they find them. And they put on the table, this is what we're going to do. You help us grow and expand, right? We're going to take care of you at the end of every year, right, according to how we grow. And we're going to send you this bonus check. And those bonus checks, Mellisa, is nice. It's millions of dollars. But do you think they pay those executives, or do you think they allow the insurance company to pay those executives and they leverage their money? You got it right. Yeah. They absolutely allow those insurance companies that they have an agreement with to lend them money, pay the executive, and here's the deal. The insurance is on the executive. The insurance is on the executive. So guess what? They own the policy, and it's something that's called split dollar plan, that when they die, I'm talking about the executive that's getting millions of dollars of bonuses. When they die, they end up splitting half of that money to the family, and they have the rest. And they got all their money back. They paid that executive, and they never lost a dime. All done on somebody else's dime, right? And on somebody else's life, right? It's a game being played that a lot of entrepreneurs have to know. And I'm speaking to you entrepreneurs out there. These kind of things we have to know, and we have to understand how it's being done, right? And so that's what BOLI is. BOLI is about taking care of now, taking care of the future, and then also taking care of the best talent that they can get their hands on, right? And that's what's happening with Bowley. And Coley has been modeled and duplicated almost the exact same way. Coley is corporate-owned life insurance. Bowley is bank-owned life insurance. And the thing about it, Mellisa, this has been around for well over 100 years. Infinite banking from the start of insurance over 200 years ago has allowed you to build cash inside of it. It just hasn't been hit and shared with us and been taught to us in a way that we're learning it now. Thank God for R. Nelson Nash, who discovered it in his, challenges that he was having financially, and he discovered it through, him being on his knees and learning this, and then having the desire and the heart to share with people like you and I.
Wow. I mean, again, when you're tuned into Women Emerge with Mellisa Lambert, it's always an honor to have my co-host, Tony Chambly, who is the CEO and the president of Core Financial Partners. We're talking the truth about money, and the topic for today is how to do what the banks do, not what they say. And we gave you an understanding of what, how to define banking. We talked about traditional banking getting started. We also gave you an understanding of how does IBC, which is infinite banking concept, compare to traditional banks. And we also just talked about, explaining what Bowley is, which is bank-owned life insurance. So as we close in, Tony, how can someone become their own banker?
Yeah, you become your own banker of making the decision. That's what you want. That's what you desire. That's what's needed, right? And you need it for your family life, your personal life, and you need it for if you have a business or you're an entrepreneur, you're an investor, right? All parties can use this and leverage this and be better for it, right? So once you've made this decision, you want to now connect yourself to someone that's well-versed at this, right? Our firm is certified as infinite banking practitioners, our firm, right? So anybody a part of Core Financial Partners had the resources of what it takes to get set up and how to maintain it and then pass it and let it take care of the next 3 to 4 generations. So you want to make sure you have the right person to work with, and that's why we're offering you Core Financial Partners, right? So after you're working with someone that could be your coach or mentor through the whole process, now it's about capitalization, right? Getting through the process first of getting approved, and once you get it approved, and by the way, if you're under the sound of my voice and you think you're aged out or your health is not right and you can't get approved, you always have a plan B. Anybody that's an insurable interest to you, hear me clearly, you can still position yourself becoming your own banker through infinite banking concept by using a family that you have an insurable interest in. Let me define insurable interest. It's someone that you have an interest in, right, that the insurance company will look at, yes, that makes sense. We're going to approve this, allow you to be the owner of someone else's life insurance as far as owning the policy. It could be here are the parties that's automatically insurable interest: your spouse, your kids, your grandkids, and your parents. Let's go back to Bowley. Bowley has insurable interest because they're hiring executives that they're paying a bundle of money, and that's insurable interest to them. So it can be a partner or a key executive or key employee that you can put this on as well. So let's go back to where we were. So once you identify insurable interest, you can still be the owner even if you're aged out or your health is not good enough to get you approved. So keep that in mind. Now, after you've been approved, it's all said and done, you've been approved, now it's capitalization period. You want to capitalize your policy, right? And you don't want to be stingy to yourself. I'm going to say it again. You do not want to be stingy to yourself. Mr. Nelson Nash taught it real clear and made it consistently said to us, don't be afraid to capitalize your policy, right? Put as much money in there that allows you and that you can afford, right? After you've done that, now your major capital purchases that you come about that's needed to be taken care of, you're no longer going to the bank. You're no longer using that money, or you're no longer using your money from saving it and spending it down. You position your money and capitalize it in one of these policies. You're borrowing against it, not from it, right? So after you've done that, you've taken it, you borrowed from it to take care of need, wants, and desires through services and goods, and now you repay yourself. You position yourself with being an honest banker to pay yourself back. Mellisa, one of the fastest ways for any traditional bank to fail is for it not to repay their loans. Let me tell you a story real quick. Mellisa, are we doing okay on time?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Keep on going.
Okay. So there was a bank, right, National Metland Bank out of Texas, right, some years ago. They started a bank, right, and they had a board of directors, and they were doing well. They funded it nice. They got enough depositors to put money in there. You know what they turned around and did, Mellisa?
What?
They turned around. The board of directors had this bright idea, this genius idea, to go be the borrower from their own bank. So they started borrowing money from their own bank, and they had a board of directors because there was an oil deal on the table that they thought was a no-brainer, and they did it. But the oil deal did not go through, at least as fast as it was supposed to. And
wow.
And through all of this, they neglected, Mellisa, to pay the bank back. Do you know what happened to that bank?
Close.
That bank failed. That bank totally collapsed. They even brought in a new CEO to say, hey, look, let's figure out what the heck is going on here, because they couldn't really figure out why the bank wasn't doing well. And come find out, the new CEO identified the problem because there was no incoming funding coming in from the operation of lending money out. They wasn't getting money paid back. And most of the high-level loans came from internally. They looked at it, and it showed that it was their board of directors that was borrowing the money. My point is we got to get to the phase when we lend or borrow money out of our policies that we pay it back. Yes, you use your death benefit as last defense of collateral, but you don't want to do that. An honest banker, right, if it's affordable and feasible, you want to position yourself for your own amortization schedule almost immediately if you can afford. It's like buying a car, right? You can't buy a car and not start the payment in a couple months. You buy anything or finance anything, they want the payments to start right away. If you don't, you almost forget about it. That's what the bankers did. That's what the board of directors of that bank did, Mellisa. It's almost like if you don't do it right away, the habit of doing it is never created, and before you know it, you almost forget that you did it. And I'm hoping that everybody under the sound of my voice understands that. Start your payback, right? Even if it's just a few dollars, right? It doesn't have to take all of what what you think it would take. Is your budget. You own the bank. You control the bank, right? Now, if there's a legitimate reason, you got to wait another quarter, another year. That's a different story. Just make sure you pay the interest back, right? Just make sure you pay the interest back. So the next phase to that is the repay, right? And allow that baby to be repaid back up to par when you're ready for your financial independence day. Because this should be set up, when done properly, it should be a part of your financial independence, what others call retirement, right? So there's a method to the madness. I'm just telling you, your number one resource is to have a core consultant to be working with you through this whole process. It is practical, but it's information that if you don't know, you don't know. And you want to make sure that you have somebody walking you through the process, and it becomes really clear and it really becomes really effective and efficient for your present and your future. Remember, done right, done properly, Mellisa, it takes care of the next 3 to 4 generations.
Yeah, and that's what we want. We want legacy. We talk about our 4S mission. The top of the mission is the last S is significance, where legacy will dwell. So this was a lot, y'all. And I mean, every time Tony comes here, he drops so much nuggets for us to really meditate on the information, but don't just sit on it. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to think about it. If you have questions, that's what we're here for. We're not trying to tell you to go figure it out. We're here to help you figure it out. So definitely connect back with a corepreneur. If you don't have a corepreneur, you have myself, you have Mr. Tony Chambly. We are here to transition you through this process to become your own bank. So just want to remind everybody this show is being sponsored by Lambert Legacy Financial, powered by Core Financial Partners. And we are dedicated to bringing financial awareness to the community through the infinite banking concept. We teach the truth about money, empowering individuals and their families to think about and plan their legacy. Our vision is to be a beacon of financial education, transforming lives by instilling knowledge and confidence in financial planning. We aim to create a community where everyone is equipped to build and sustain a legacy for generation and generations to come. So, Tony, how can we kind of connect back with Core Financial Partners? Give us some information where we can continue our learning journey.
Sure, absolutely. And I'm glad you said that, because don't make this your only one time of listening or reviewing information. Go to learnmorewithcore.com. Learn more with Core, CORE.com. And there's a smorgasbord of videos there that you can be watching. And it's short. We keep them short and sweet, 2 to 4 minutes apiece. Really goes over different concepts and recaps how this all works. And then, in addition to that, if you're someone under the sound of my voice and there's any amount of debt that you want to get rid of, whether small or large, you want to go to CoreDebtStrategy.com, CoreDebtStrategy.com, and review that, let's say 12 minutes video that really goes over how you can use infinite banking concept to get rid of debt, but leverage your dollars and have your money still make money for you. Because getting rid of debt could be money gone and gone forever. How about leveraging it and allowing the storage company to pay for your debt for you, arbitraging that? And it shows you how to do that in that video. And then you also can say, you might be a person that loves reading or listening to books that are on audio. You want to go to CoreReads.com, CoreReads.com, and get the suggested books. The number one book that the information that I went over just now is in that book, Become Your Own Banker. Become Your Own Banker is actually was written by R. Nelson Nash, who discovered this entire concept, right? Knows it inside out. And it's only a 92-page book. I suggest every person that's listening get that book and have it in your library for yourself and your family as well. And overall website to go to and do your research on who we are, corefinancialpartners.com. So, Mellisa, thank you again. Once again, anytime we can share, I'm always there. This is something that I believe is needed, and hopefully everybody grew from it.
Wow. Thank you again so much, Tony, for always dedicating yourself, your time, and your effort to show up and share this knowledge. And one thing I love about you, you practice what you preach, not only with yourself, but with your wonderful wife and your children and your grandchildren. You are practicing, living out everything that you are preaching for generations to come. So thank you again for just being available, not only for myself here, but for the entire Core family as well. So if you are ready to take the next step, y'all, towards financial independence, we talked about Financial Independence Day the other day, y'all. We want you to take that next step and become your own bank. We here at Core Financial Partners will help. So if a corepreneur shared this information with you, please connect directly to that corepreneur. Let them know that you are ready to take the necessary step to get to your Financial Independence Day. If you don't know anyone that is a corepreneur, here at Lambert Legacy Financial, powered by Core Financial Partners, I'm here to help you with the guidance of Tony as well. You can definitely check out our YouTube channel, Women Emerge Network. All our episodes, even the entire September, is there. After watching one of our consultation videos, we're going to definitely set up a time where we can do a one-on-one time to answer any questions and comments. Don't forget, Learn More with Core is your source where you will go to learn and get all this information. And then we're going to schedule some time to connect. Go to Coach Mellisa. That's Coach Mellisa.com. Definitely, we are excited to see this journey unfold. Please continue to follow me on Facebook at Mellisa S. Lambert. That's Mellisa S. Lambert, as well as Lambert Legacy Financial with the logo. It's there. Lambert Legacy Financial is our page. And again, we thank you so much for tuning in to Women Emerge with Mellisa Lambert. We had a great conversation with our co-host, Tony Chambly, the CEO and the president of Core Financial Partners. We talked about the truth about money and how to do what the banks do, y'all, not what they say. So definitely we want you to tune in again next Thursday. We're going to be here again sharing this great information. If you found that this episode was helpful, don't keep us a secret, y'all. Share it with someone you like, love, and trust. Let them know there is truth about the money that we earn each and every day. We ask you not to keep us a secret. Please share this with them so they can begin their journey of financial independence. Until next time, y'all, don't forget to subscribe. Leave us a comment. Tell us what we want to hear, which is some great information. So thank you again, Tony. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you, sir, for being here always and telling us the truth about money. Thank you, sir.
Yes, and I had a blast once again.
Once again, we are here, and we are about to get out of here, y'all. So until next time, take care, take charge, and continue to be great. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to Women Emerge with Mellisa Lambert, where Mellisa speaks with leaders, experts, and motivators who share their journeys and their stories through personal and professional growth, knowledgeable tips, and lessons learned that will empower you to grow. Follow Mellisa and Women Emerge Network on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at MELLISA SLAMBERT and at Women Emerge Network. And visit www.womenemergenetwork.com. Remember, when you know better, you can do better, especially when God is for you.